So today I'm gonna be starting a new series on basic theory, and that's gonna be the title of it. And this is, you can, if you want to get technical and put lessons in there and subpoints, this would be lesson 1, subpoint A, scales, numerics, wholes and halves. I had to look at my notes before I got completely messed up. So the title of this lesson, that's going to be broken into 2 different videos because they're pretty in-depth stuff, especially for basic theory. The title is Chords and Keys. So that's what the main idea of this lesson is going to be. It's going to be how to form chords, how to form keys, what chords go with what keys, what chords you stay away from when you play in a certain key, and just different things about individual keys, some neat little tricks I found, and some things that you definitely don't want to do because it'll mess up the whole key and it won't sound good. But those will also come with trial and error once you start playing and once you start getting to really know your instrument. And in this case, I'm going to be teaching from, obviously, a guitar. So let's go ahead and jump into the first part of this lesson. So it's scales, numerics, wholes, and halves. So first off, we're going to talk about wholes and halves because that's basically the basic thing with instruments, with notes. So a whole step is going from one note to the next. So from A to B. Now B to C is a little bit different. It's not a whole step because there's no note in between. So it's just B, C, and there's no half step in between. Then from C, a whole step would be to D. Then a whole would be to E. And then here's another one of those no half step. It's from E to F. And then from F to G, and then G back around to A. And so that's what a whole note is. You can kind of think of it as counting numbers. So like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay? You have 1 is A, 2 is B, 3 is C, 4 is D, 5 is E, 6 is F, 7 is G, and then your 8 is back to A. And then the half step you can think of as the half in between the counting numbers. So you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, or 14. And then you have the halves in between it. 1, 1.5, 2, 2.5, 3, 3.5, etc., etc., etc. So to show you on the guitar, it would be just a whole step is skipping one of the frets. So this is a C right here. So C to D. Or we've been talking about A. So A to B. And then C. Anyway, so that's what a whole step is. It just skips one of the frets on a guitar. And then a half step is playing that in between. So the in between from A to B is A sharp. So this is the half step in between A and B. And the half step in between A sharp and C is B. So that's the half step. And the half step between B and A sharp or B flat or D flat is C. So that's half steps and whole steps. And that's really going to play a part when you look into numerics and the scales, which I'm going to talk about in just a second. So, literally a second. No, I'm kidding. So music is numerical, and that came about because they wanted to find musicians wanted to find an easier way to transpose from one key to another. So say you're playing in the key of A and you want to play in the key of, say, E. Well, you would have to shift every note up a certain interval, or down a certain interval. And so with music, it became very handy to think of it as numbers, or numerical. So it goes from 1 to 14. So for the rest of this video, I'm going to be playing in the key of C, and mainly talking about that because it's the simplest key to play in, because it's just straight across the board, no sharps or flats in it. So first, 1 is going to be the root or the tonic of the key that you're playing in. And say if you're in the key of C, that's going to be, your tonic is going to be C. So here's a C right here. So C is 1, and a whole step, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. Which is, it stops at 14 because then the next one is 2 octaves up. 15, from 1 to 15. And so it's from 1 to 14, and that's where you get different chords. So if you ever hear C add 9, you're just adding the 9th, which is also the 2nd, so that would be D. So all you're doing is adding a D to your C chord. And so instead of sounding like this, it would sound like this. It's kind of a lifted chord. So that's how music is numerical. And so now that we know that music is numerical and we know what wholes and half steps are, we can talk about the scale, because these are the fundamental things that build on chords and build on keys. And a scale is basically what notes you can play without it sounding like the wrong note. So if you've ever heard somebody play an off note in a piano recital, you can definitely tell they played that off note, unless they're just really good and they can cover it really well. But you can play, so say I'm playing, this is a C scale. That was wrong, but that's a C scale. Now, if I hit a wrong note, I'm sure you'll be the first to pick it out. But that's wrong, because it doesn't go with the pattern that I'm going to tell you in just a little bit. So before we get into the pattern of what the chords are, or what the scale is, let's talk about what and where we are playing. So on a guitar you have 6 strings. So the first one, the biggest and the lowest note in standard tuning is E. The next one is A. The next one is D. The next one is G. The next one is B. And then the next one is E. So a simple way to remember that is Eddie ate dynamite. Goodbye, Eddie. It's a little dark, but hey, it works. So it's Eddie ate dynamite. Goodbye, Eddie. E A D G B A E. So that's what we're playing on. Is we're playing on these 6 strings that are E. If it's just open, it's E, A, D, G, B, A. So that is what we're playing on. Now, where we are playing is we're going to play C in the C scale. And so that is going to be 8 frets above open E. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Sorry, it's 9. 9 steps. Now, that's not 9 notes above, that's just 9 frets. It's the 9th fret there. Right there. Is that the 9th fret? Yeah. 3, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. No, it's the 8th fret. Because it's the 1st, 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th. Anyway. So on the 8th fret, which if you want to count up numbers, open E. Remember, E to F, it has no half step, so it's E, F, whole step, G, whole step, A, whole step, B, half step, C. So that's where you're going to put, that's where you're going to have, that's where the tonic is on this low string for the C, key of C. So now a scale is just notes that are played in the key. And so the pattern for any instrument in any key, and you probably want to write this down somewhere or commit it to memory, is tonic, which is the root note of the key, which in the key of C is C. Tonic, whole, whole, half, whole, 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 half. And so that's the pattern for any instrument on any key, or on any instrument in any key. It's tonic, whole, whole, half, whole, 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 half. Make sure you memorize that, write it down somewhere, because that becomes very important in playing chords and playing any music, really, because it shows you what chords to play in a certain key, in a major key. So, to do it on a guitar, what you want to do is, so this is your first finger, second finger, third finger, fourth finger. You want to put your second finger on your root, or your tonic, and then all the other fingers just fall into place on their respective, on their correct frets. And so you're only going to play 2 notes on this low E string. So it's tonic, whole, which is a D, whole, and then you move down to another key, or another string, whole, half, so it's 2, 4, 1, 2, whole, 4, whole, 1, whole, 3, half, 4. So 1, or 2, 4, 1, 2, 4, 1, 3, 4. And so that's your scale, is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And then you can keep going however high you want to. 15 or 14, you go back to 1, so on and so forth. So, and then this is your 5th right here, which becomes important in the keys and chords that we're going to learn about in the next video. In the same lesson, but next video. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4, or tonic, 2, 3, 4, but this is actually your 5th. 1, 2, 3. Maybe it's not. I'm sorry, your 4th. My bad. Your 4th fourth is on the next string down, but the same fret. And then your fifth is just one whole step above your fourth. So that's the scale, and that goes for any other key that you want to play in. So say I want to play in the key of B flat. Okay, you find B flat, which is just a half step below B, which B is here, so B flat, and then you put your second finger there. Second, fourth, 1, 2, 4, 1, 3, 4, and that's your scale. Or you can do tonic, whole, whole, half, whole, 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 half. And as we'll learn later, those are the notes that you would play in a major key to make it sound pretty good. And that's just your basic scale. And there are different scales, like if you've ever heard of the pentatonic scale or the minor scale, and we'll go over those in another lesson. But for now, we're just going to be talking about the major chords and keys and scales. So that wraps it up for this lesson. And then in the next video that I do, there's going to be keys and chords, and what chords go with which keys, and what chords to play in which keys, and where to play them, when to play them, why you play them, just different things like that. And then we'll be talking about the relative minor. So I hope you enjoyed this video. Please like and subscribe and share this video with your friends. I hope you learned a lot and enjoyed it. Thanks.